If you haven't read I'm a Necrophiliac, but That's Not the Issue by Rydene, you can watch my video rendition of it here and read along on no sleep. This analysis is a companion piece to my video version and contains spoilers. I must sound like a broken record or a 24-hour news channel because I keep bringing up the same talking points. But what is creepypasta? I have a list of common qualities of creepypasta that can be pointed to as descriptors. The use of literary realism, horror focused on imparting strange feelings rather than terror, and the use or acknowledgement of the internet age and new/social media. I, along with what I believe to be a silent majority of creepypasta fans, have long bemoaned the meteoric rise of saccharine and idealized power fantasies, also termed creepypasta. But even still, I think another few varieties of writing fall under this term as well. Looking back at the Twilight Zone, there was a prototype of what creepypasta is now hidden somewhere in there. It was a program that showcased more than just traditional horror. It gave a voice and a platform to all kinds of offbeat horror. Some of it was surreal, some of it was mundane and atmospheric, some of it was about building tension and offering social commentary, some designed entirely around a twist, a la M. Night Shyamalan. Some of it wasn't even horror, just stories built on the pretense of horror. Just like creepypasta, the Twilight Zone and later the Night Gallery were places for morbid and weird authors that congregate. But the Twilight Zone had one other kind of story, didn't it? It is what has been termed strange fiction. Among the classic creepypastas, there are a few that stick out as strange fiction, such as Leon Shogosh, Gateway to the Mind, and Snuff Film, to name a few. Also known as weird fiction, strange fiction is a subgenre of speculative fiction originating in the late 19th and early 20th century. It can be said to encompass the ghost story and other tales of the macabre. Weird fiction is distinguished from horror and fantasy in that it predates the niche marketing of genre fiction. Because genre or stylistic conventions had not been established, weird tales often blended elements of the supernatural, the mythical, and even the scientific. British authors who embrace this style have often published their works in the mainstream literary magazines, even after American pulp magazines became popular. Now, some of that definition would seem to run counter to what I propose creepypasta is or should be, but the strange fiction aspect of creepypasta was portioned out of the same pot, just substituting strict realism for speculative writing that feels real, rather than acquire believability by tricking the part of the brain that asks for facts and details. It fools the part of the brain that wants to believe in conspiracy theories. Wow, alright, so I'm a necrophiliac, but that's not an issue. Strange as it gets. Unlike most of the second-hand accounts we get with the strange fiction variety of creepypasta, this story is a first-person account, like most realism creepypastas. The new media aspect of the horror encompasses all kinds of casual blog-style writing. We live in the age of the Ask Me Anything post on Reddit, and this is the resulting horror that comes from that. The deviant act of necrophilia is a major taboo in almost every culture. The superstitious reverence of corpses make this act almost more horrifying to some than sex crimes involving living victims. And this forced silence on a fetish has blown it out of proportion for our narrator. With no way to satisfy his jollies, this deviant desire built up a life of secrecy for him. The way he socializes and picks partners is influenced by his feelings of wanting. His admission of being a necrophiliac wasn't easily facilitated before Web 2.0 and things like Reddit, 4chan, Tumblr, that kind of stuff. With the anonymous nature of the internet and its increasing move towards echo chambers, this allows for his sort of experience to be heard Obviously, this one is fictional, but the ability to facilitate such an admission is what's important. Despite knowing from the very beginning that Logan is a necrophiliac, the tension of his desire has already wore down his mental state. Before the story has even begun, some might say that you have to be crazy to be a necrophiliac to begin with. But personally, I've found that women love sex with dead things. That tension Logan's secret had on him had long been held. The tension put on us is the opening question the title offers. What is the issue? What is so shocking that this story's preface is, ignore the whole necrophilia thing? The twist. It turns out she was alive all along. She wasn't actually dead. It's fantastical. Maybe it doesn't belong with this movement of realist horror. Or maybe, not saying this is the only way to read it, but maybe he's crazy and she's just dead. Maybe Logan made this post out of guilt, out of paranoia. Maybe the tension of his desire drove him insane. No matter how alone and how safe he is, he still can't feel safe from the judgment of society. This seems to be his biggest fear, more than getting arrested. He doesn't have a love for life, so an arrest isn't the worst thing that could happen to him. He's like an alcoholic or some sort of addict, making justifications of turning in the body once he's done. He looks back on these justifications with some sort of perspective on the matter, knowing he was lying to himself, knowing he'd keep her as long as possible, knowing he wouldn't grow tired of her decaying body. The perfect girl for him. If love was easy with her before, it certainly got even easier now. He clearly has no other goals in life. Logan is alone with the only person he could ever call a true love, but the paranoid guilt ruins it for him. Just like Henry Bemis losing his glasses in the Twilight Zone episode, Time Enough at Last, Logan is alone with the only person he could ever call a true love, and the paranoid guilt ruins it for him. I like to think that Logan got over his paranoia and is living in marital bliss. If you have something to contribute, please leave a comment below. And if you want more content like this, consider subscribing.